I think today is going to be a pretty interesting video because the stuff that happened today is very varied. It's not just very hard levels getting beat, it's old creators returning, new levels releasing, it's very interesting. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Purgatory team. So you probably know these people as they have made some very popular work like the Silent Acropolis redeco, the Dark Dimension, which is a redecoration of Black Blizzard, and they've done this for a bunch of other levels. They mostly just remake in their own style really popular levels. They do have some original stuff like Clock Tower, but it's mostly redecorations. And just under an hour ago, they released the full showcase of a redecoration that they have been doing recently called Aquamarine. So yeah, this isn't like Dark Dimension where they changed the name or Clown Control. This is just Aquamarine, and it's just a redecoration of that level. If you don't know what Aquamarine is, it was basically a very popular 9 Circles level that kind of ripped off Zakupin Circles, but it was harder and it was now blue, and that level was very popular. It's one of the hardest unrated 9 Circles levels. I think it is actually the hardest barring unnerfed Zakupin Circles. And while that level has been officially beaten, it never got rated. It did have a redecoration, but someone told me that there was drama behind it, and even if there wasn't, it didn't get rated, right? So this is kind of made to give the level a new life, a new chance to get a rate. And I really like this level. I think it's super interesting. A lot of people hate the Purgatory, or maybe not hate, but they dislike a lot of their levels. I don't know why. I think it's because they're remaking very popular IP, so they can't really reach the original's, factor or level of quality. I think that was the reason for Dark Dimension's failure, besides the sound effects. And also I've seen people say that they're just over-decorated, the levels, but I think this one strikes a good balance. It definitely isn't too much. It seems very relatively tame, but it also has stuff going on when it needs to. It's got a cool background. It's much more in tone with its theming. Its end screen is beautiful. The Purgatory do amazing work with their end screens every time. I love this. It's to be verified by Rose there, which we'll get into in a second, and yeah, it is just beautiful. And if it's anything like Zakupin Circles, we should still be able to use the LDM to get the original Aquamarine, because I'm pretty sure it uses the same gameplay, it's just a redecoration. It also says here that it's aiming to be a top 1 9 Circles level, which is interesting because if we're gonna assume that they mean rated, then it has to be harder than Antarctic Lights and Ultra Paracosm, and then I guess also Silent Circles, because that will probably be verified by the time this comes out. It was hosted by Lugi GD, so props to them, and it seems like they also had a part in the process of actually making the level as well. Rose is a very good player. You can see here they made big progress on Tidal Wave, which we covered a long time ago. I say long time ago, but it was a couple months ago. But you can see that they're definitely fit for the job because they were the first victor of Aquamarine. So the redecoration shouldn't take that long to get verified realistically. Obviously, it'll still take time because you need to play the level again. This was over a year ago. And the added decoration, if it's, verified without using the supposed LDM that we're probably getting, will be harder, right? It'll just naturally be harder. But I do think that Rose can get this over with, and I'm happy that Rose was able to get a verification. Next up, we're going to talk about the pro player Slaughterhouse. Now, this actually happened yesterday, and I could have covered it, but I genuinely thought it wasn't legit, so I didn't cover it, but turns out it probably is, so I will. And this is Slaughterhouse 95% Fluke from 36. To put into perspective how insane that is, just recently, we did cover Slaughterhouse because it got its world record Fluke broken. I actually made a mistake and I had to make a pinned comment because I said that it was here, but this is the old world record, or at least where it was. The new one is a bit further back, but still 63, right? A Fluke from 63%. So if this player Slay just followed through with the 36% run, we could have seen this record get absolutely demolished. Like, keep in mind, that is post-River. A lot of people get hard stuck on River when playing Slaughterhouse. It makes sense. It's the hardest part of the level, at least in my opinion. Some people could, argue it's the first wave, I guess. But, genuinely, how is that possible? You can see here the drop is at 25. 36 is so soon in the level. It's the straight fly. So not only is it fluking all of river, but you're fluking all this part, and you fluke all of river, and then you just go on to the very end. 95% is literally the very, very end of Slaughterhouse. You can see that it is literally the last click there. I'll go back. Genuinely, if that click was timed a tiny bit earlier, then that would have been it. That genuinely would have been it. A fluke from 36, and we would be like, what? This would be the craziest day in GD. Okay, that's over-exaggerating a bit, but you get what I mean. It would have been so insane. But even this is super, super impressive. This is way more impressive than the last one we just covered, which was already crazy, fluking Slaughterhouse of all things from 63. And yeah, they seem legit because this links to their Menace completion, so records have been accepted from them before, and it seems like all their descriptions have raw footage, so this seems legit. It's actually crazy. Next up is a crazy thing, but I'm actually going to be covering Laser Blitz, who you definitely have heard of. He has made some of the most iconic levels in the game. We just scroll down here: Ultra Driver, Space Locked 2 and Space Locked, Auditory Breaker, Parts in Digital Descent. He was one of the people that made Blade of Justice, which is just straight up one of the most popular things to ever come to the game. And we haven't really heard from him for a while. He was last, like, super active 6 years ago, and then kind of sporadically came back each year, and then kind of stopped doing that 2 years ago, where his last public act, or mostly public act on his channel at least, was the collaboration with GD Deeper Space, if you remember those groups of levels. But recently, he started up live streams building on the game. He's back in 2.2, and he's doing stuff, which is crazy to see. What he's building here is a part in Atomic Cannon Prime, which is a really long finale to the Atomic Cannon series. At least I think it's a finale. You know, Atomic Cannon by Lieb, a very popular series in the game. And it's cool to see him return, because we've been seeing so many creators make a return now in the game, and this is just adding on to the big list. And also players, like obviously Space UK is back to playing the game, Sonics has returned, and Swish is kind of making a comeback. There's a lot of old faces returning. We also have more news from Arraegen, formerly known as Manny Heffley. You definitely already know him from stuff like Menace, Glass Chapel, and Doom Hercules as of recent, which did actually get rated epic, so I actually predicted what I thought RobTop would give it. And recently, he decided to start posting his music onto his channel. It wasn't posted here before, but now we are getting them with the first one here, Waypoint. You should go listen to it, it's pretty good. And he's putting this song to use, hence why we're covering him here, because if we go to live, we can see that he has started building Waypoint, so keep an eye out on this level. Usually he makes bangers. Hopefully this comes out. I'm kind of annoyed because it seems like most of his levels end up releasing, and the one that I actually got the ability to playtest never came out and he dropped it, so tough luck for me. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about when it comes to Arraegen, because I kind of missed out on talking about his video being posted here. I was supposed to cover it yesterday, but I just forgot. And to end the video off, I know this is a couple days old, but I feel like I need to talk about this. We just saw a world record for raw concrete, which is 58 to 100. This is done by Saitama GD, who you have definitely heard of at least somewhere. Probably for Misanthrope 44 to 100, which was a world record. And I think a lot of people didn't cover Saitama, a lot of the news channels, including myself, despite how crazy this achievement actually was. They basically do a bunch of runs on top ones, but this is pretty impressive considering it's raw concrete. And I'm not going to act like I knew about this level before, because I didn't. All I really knew was that it was a really hard layout, but I found this video of a bunch of people doing runs on it, and this is 8 1 frames on 240 and 9 2 frames on 240. How is it? I don't know. This is similar to Heliopolis, where the level's pretty slow. It's just super, super tight. And yeah, crazy run. And this is only after 9,000 attempts, which is absolutely nothing. But that's the end of the video today. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something that you didn't already know, and peace.